And he takes a pitch from Luis Blanco, the Venezuelan right-hander. 4-strike one, and we are underway.
Septimo, your stereotypical lead-off hitter. He's got a lot of speed, so what he's trying to do is just put that ball in play and run that out. He's also one to steal as well, but he's going to have quite a tough matchup, as is the entire Team Colombia, against a strong Venezuelan team who has really held their opponents to limited runs so far this tournament.
What about their road? We mentioned the road for Colombia to get here to the championship game. And again, because of rain, all the games were rained out on Friday. It made for an overly busy Saturday with the teams playing their third game. Chopper over to third. That's Juani Roberto with the long throw to first, and he gets the out and one away.
Well, Team Venezuela, a very good overall team, as you can see here today. They've got very strong pitching. Their offense is extremely powerful. Their road started on Thursday with an 18-7 win over Team USA. They started to play their next game against Puerto Rico. They got 2 innings in on Friday before the rain kicked in. They had to then continue that game earlier this morning, went into extra innings, 9 total. They won it on the walk-off 3-2. And then they proceeded to beat Team Canada 15-1. So that's a total of 36 runs scored by Team Venezuela. And again, held opponents to a total of 10 runs over those 3 games. So this is a overall well-rounded team here.
Frank Febles, the second baseman for Colombia, one of the power bats in the lineup, fouls one off. Count of 1-1. We're coming to you from beautiful 15 ballpark at the Palm Beaches in West Palm Beach, Florida. Spring training home. Ground ball to first. Off the glove briefly of Isturiz. Now he picks it up and goes to the bag and gets the out. Good play by Efrain Isturiz over at first base. Stayed with it and got the out. And that'll bring up Edinson Renteria, nephew of World Series hero Edgar Renteria. His father, as we mentioned, the manager, head coach of this Colombian team. Many ties, whether through parents. Some of these players live in Colombia. Some are in the South Florida area. Edinson now goes to Flanagan High School here in South Florida in Broward County. Has a good chance to be drafted, according to his dad there. Colleges are looking at him. Needs to have a good year, of course. Important senior year. Line drive. There's a good start. Base hit. And that's going to find the gap here. Renteria rounding first. Rivera's going to throw it in. It's going to be a double with 2 outs for Edinson Renteria.
An aggressive approach by Renteria, jumping on an 81-mile-per-hour fastball there, left over the plate by Luis Blanco. That gives Colombia a man on second base. Craig to bring up.
Yes, a good hitter here in Ismael Campuzano, the center fielder. Right-handed hitter. That pitch is up high, ball 1.
Craig Caspiano, a smart hitter. He likes to see a lot of pitches, doesn't usually jump on those first couple, likes to see what the pitcher has. And let's take a look at what Luis Blanco has. He throws in the low to mid-80s. He's a junior in high school. They're looking for 4 to 5 innings from him. Has a very strong work ethic, very high baseball IQ, understands the game. As Caspiano fouls one out for strike number 1, 1-1 count. He started playing baseball when he was 7 years old. He played because, well, his father wanted him to play, but then he fell in love with the game, and that's what's important. And his favorite player, a current New York Yankee, Giancarlo Stanton.
Big guy, 6'1", 190. Big right-handed hitter. Here in this 18 and under category, second annual World Comes to the Palm Beaches International Tournament presented by the Caribbean Baseball Organization. Now we have countries from all over the world: Peru, Panama, Bahamas, Dominican Republic, the Cayman Islands, obviously the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Italy, just to name a few. There's a team from Haiti here, a team from Kenya. In fact, the Colombian team had to beat the Bahamian team 7-3. One of the better players on the Colombian team actually is originally from the Bahamas, in Andreas Seymour, who runs a 6.28 60-yard dash. But he jammed his right hand early in the tournament. We may not see him in this game. We'll see. Big swing and a miss from Capuzano, trying to drive in a run here with 2 outs, top of the first. Lights are on here at the ballpark. There's a stiff breeze from center field blowing in. Right up the middle, base hit. Rounding third is Renteria. Here's Acevedo's throw. It's a good one, and it takes a tough bounce. Renteria's going to get to the plate as he ran into the catcher, Andres Hoyas. And it's a base hit. Moving up to second is Capuzano. And Colombia has the first run of the game with a 2-out single.
Well played by Luis Acevedo. Great throw, right on line, but a tough bounce allowed Edgar Renteria to come up with it. Andres Hoyas did his best to block and kept it in front of him, preventing Castellano to advance to third base. He's now standing on second. Colombia has the early 1-0 lead with 2 outs here.
That one gets off the glove
away from him
on Hoyas, so going over to third is Capuzano. And Maurice Christopher is the batter. Talked with him briefly before the game. Good power bat for Edinson Renteria's club. Right fielder. And another big guy. He goes 6'3". Fastball up high from Luis Blanco. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Christopher. And a well-hit drive to left field. It's deep. Rivera going back, and he will make the catch. But that was hit well into the wind, and Christopher throws his hand. I think without the wind, that ball is floating with the warning track or maybe even deeper. So Colombia does get a run, a 2-out rally, Renteria and Capuzano. And after a half inning, they lead in the 18 and under World Championship game here in the Palm Beaches over Venezuela. We welcome you back. We go to the bottom of the first inning here in Palm Beach. And we look at Johan Diaz will be the pitcher. His brother also on the team, and Alex Diaz. Here's Johan pitching to Picasso Basile, leadoff hitter for Venezuela. As Kelly mentioned, Venezuela's got that offense rolling in this championship. Pitches inside. They certainly have the country with the greater baseball background in terms of the establishment, but things are changing because the Colombian game is picking up. Scouts are now looking at Colombia. There are more major leaguers coming in, little by little. From Colombia, obviously Edgar Renteria from Barranquilla. Big swing and a miss, strike two. But most of the players from Colombia are along the coastal areas, Cartagena, Barranquilla. Soccer much bigger in other spots like Bogota and Medellin. Here's the pitch to Basile, goes full now, 3-2. Colombia in red, Venezuela in blue. And a shot to first. It's caught now out of the glove, and going safe to first base is Basile. It caught originally, but when his glove hit the dirt, it came out of the glove of Lorraine Paez over at first base. Laramie, I beg your pardon.
And that's a tough one. If you are Colombia, you've got that easy out there right in your glove. He pulled his head at the last second, and that then allowed Basile to arrive safely at first base. And now Venezuela, who is, as you mentioned before, a strong offensive team, is now got their leadoff batter on with no outs.
We'll see how they score that one, Kelly, but Luis Acevedo showing bunt, pulls back 1-0. Scoreboard is not registered to either hit or error yet. Be a tough call because it was first baseman there was lunging down to get the ball. So Basile is on first base for Acevedo. A high pop-up. Remember, that wind can play a lot of tricks. Going over there, though, is Septimo. He makes the catch. Good play there to get the first out.
Great awareness by Septimo as well. You saw that although his body was angled the way that it was, he made sure to flip his body around and check first base, where Basile was equally heads up and tagging up there and seeing if maybe he would catch somebody sleeping. He does not. That's one out.
So here's Lander Suarez, the shortstop. Hitting third in the order, 1 on, 1 out for Venezuela.
Lander Suarez, one of the big bats here on this team, Venezuela team. He's new here to the United States. He came from Venezuela just a couple years ago. His goal is he's looking to play some college ball and looking for opportunities, which so many people on this team, Venezuela team, are looking for, as he pops one foul for strike number 1. His coaches say he's got all the tools to take it to the next level. He is not only athletic and has a very, very strong arm, as you'll see him starting at shortstop, but he also has the right attitude they like to see out on the field.
He's 5'11", 175 pounds. Basile gets back over at first. Number 3 hitter Suarez for Venezuela. Runner goes, and a line shot up the middle. A base hit. Trying to go to third is Basile. Here's the throw to third. Diving. He's in there safe. Good running by Picasso Baciel. And how about that hit by Suarez? Even though Fables was covering second base, that liner got under his glove.
Fables was almost in the right place at the right time. Couldn't come up with that strong line drive up the middle off the bat of Lander Suarez. And what a heads-up play by Picasso Baciel. He was running on the pitch, head down. As he saw that ball get through, he just kept going. If he would have hesitated for a second, he would have surely been out there at third base. But now instead, Team Venezuela has runners on first and third. They're threatening to tie this game with one out. That's ball number 1.
Efrain Torres, the first baseman, with a big chance. Big left-handed hitter for Team Venezuela. Torres goes 6'3", 185 pounds. Also a DH occasionally. And his left-handed pitcher as well. Here's the pitch. Overhand fastball. Swing and a miss. That had some movement on it. A good pitch from Johan Diaz.
Asturias has had quite the tournament as well, hitting well over 500. When you see the scores of some of their prior games, that shouldn't shock you.
Yeah.
High scoring 36 runs in just 3 games in this tournament.
15-1 on Canada.
They got that 3-2 walk-off against Puerto Rico. It was the closest game they had. But then how about that big 18-7 win over Team USA on Thursday? Most of the players on this Team Venezuela team, almost all of them born in Venezuela, come over here to the United States over the past 10 years, some more recent than others. All here looking for some new opportunities to play at the next level. And as you mentioned before, Craig, some scouts.
Oh, yes. Big swing and a miss. He struck him out. That's a huge out for Johan Diaz. Second out of the inning as Colombia scored that first run and would love to keep the Venezuelans off the board here in the bottom of the first inning. Here's Swansea Roberto. Zwane is the third baseman for Team Venezuela, batting 5th in the lineup. Right-handed hitter. Good fastball, 84 miles an hour, and that was painted on the corner. See that unique throwing by Johan Diaz over the top. Right-hander, kind of old-fashioned a little bit. Roberto Zwane takes strike 2.
Roberto Zwane, also a right-handed pitcher, as he fouls that one back to the backstop. He got the win over Team Puerto Rico. The game that was postponed on Friday due to rain finished early this morning. They went to extra innings.
Ninth inning, huh?
Ninth inning.
Wrong day. Runner goes, right, and the throw is going to go to second. A bouncer. It gets through, but well played there. Septimo backed up Fables for the Colombians. Runner did not go, but had he taken off the way that throw went, probably would have gotten in there.
I think a little misplay there by Picasso Basile. If he would have read that ball and see that there was no cut lined up there, he would have been safe. We saw his speed earlier today, and he was on the move on that bat by Lander Suarez. He made it safely to third base. I think with his speed, if he would have read that ball properly, Venezuela would have tied this ball game.
Big spot here. 1-2 count. Can they get out of it? Yes, they can. A high fastball, 84 miles an hour from Johan Diaz, so they don't take advantage of that miscue, and Colombia keeps Venezuela off the board. We're through 1 inning in the 18 and under World Championship game in Palm Beach. It is 1-0 Colombia. Welcome back to this outstanding tournament here in Palm Beach, Florida. The second annual World comes to the Palm Beaches. International tournament, tremendous flavor. 27 countries from literally all over the world. Japan represented, Taiwan, Kenya among the teams, the Canadian team, Bahamas. Right here it's Colombia and Venezuela, a South American flavor to the 18U championship game. Laramie Pajas is up for the Colombian team. He's the first baseman for Colombia on a very breezy and actually cool night in early November here in South Florida. I haven't felt it this chilly by Florida standards in a while. A bouncer, tough hop, and it ate up the third baseman, Roberto Zwani. We'll see how they score that. That was a difficult hop. Once he went back, that was a tough one to play.
Alexander Diaz jumping on one early, and that's the approach that this Colombian team needs to have against a strong pitching team, Venezuela, and they've got their leadoff on.
They're going to score that an error. That's not an easy error on the third baseman, Zwani. And here is Marlon Diaz for Team Colombia. Diaz is the catcher for Colombia. 18 years of age. Born originally in Nicaragua. His grandfather from Colombia. His birthday, New Year's Day.
Wow. Yeah, that must be fun, though. I wouldn't mind having my birthday on New Year's Day because, hear me out.
Go ahead.
New Year's Eve
Yeah.
should always be your party, right?
Yes.
So you throw a party New Year's Eve, everyone, Happy New Year's and Happy Birthday. Like, that's a fun one.
As long as you don't have your, if you do your big party on New Year's Eve, your birthday, you might not feel that great.
Oh,
But
that's
so you're
most
saying
birthdays,
celebrate.
though, huh?
You're saying celebrate the year before that. Is that what you're saying?
You start the celebration the year before
Okay.
that. So technically you get
That's
2
true.
days.
Right at
when you think
midnight,
about
it's
it.
your birthday.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't
I
mind.
got it.
wouldn't
Good
mind
thought.
switching it up.
Absolutely.
You definitely have the day off of work for the most part, unless you are in our industry where I don't know about you. I
Yep.
have worked
Oh, of
on
course.
New Year's Eve
Absolutely.
there on occasion.
Breaking ball up high. Count of 2-0 to Marlon Diaz. Runner on first is Laramie Pajas. He goes, and a one bouncer to second base, played by Angulo, and he throws over for the out as the runner moves up. So they kept him in motion. Good job, and they were able to get him in the scoring position. So here's Alex Diaz, number 21, the designated hitter for Colombia. Beg your pardon. We have him as Wilberto Febles. And a pop-up dropped at second base. And Gulo had it, and he dropped it. And Wilberto Febles gets on base.
Very uncharacteristic for this Venezuelan team. Strong in defense, as you can see. They have held teams to barely any runs throughout the tournament. I believe it was only Team USA who scored more than 2.
Second error of the inning.
Second error of the inning.
The only good news is that Because Pajes thought it would be caught. It was a routine pop-up. He did not move.
He did not move, right. And he played it exactly as he should. Thought it was a routine pop-up. It was a routine pop-up. Should have been caught.
So here's Diego Pajes, brother of Laramie Pajes, is on second base. Pitch on the way. Good pitch. Catching the corner, 78 miles an hour from Luis Blanco. Diego is the left fielder for this Colombian team. A pop-up in the infield. Suarez at shortstop. Tried to do the old fake-a-rooney. That's an infield fly. I'm sure they have the infield fly rule in Venezuela. But he was
I'd
doing
assume
the...
so.
I would think so. Good try, though. Automatic out. Runners advance at their own base. First and second, 2 outs. Score that a pop-up to the shortstop. Top of the order, Jason Septimo. Count of 1-0 on Septimo. 2 on for the Colombians. 2 outs. He takes that pitch, 2-0. Septimo hit a ground ball to third, 0 for 1 in the ball game in the first inning. There's a strike. Luis Blanco, the pitcher for Venezuela. Swing and a miss. Count now of 2-2 on Septimo. Talking to Edinson Renteria, the manager for Colombia, very excited about this tournament, the opportunities for his players, and likes the way they played. Playing some close scoring games. A little pop-up in the infield this time, and Guo hangs on to it. Orlando makes the play, and they get out of the jam with no damage despite the 2 errors in the inning. Through an inning and a half in the 18 and under World Championship game, Colombia leading Venezuela 1-0.
Welcome back to West Palm Beach, where Team Venezuela is trying to tie it up here as they step up to the plate in the bottom of the second. A couple errors in the top half of the inning, but Colombia was not able to capitalize on them.
And foul back to the screen. Andres Hoya. Hoya is the Venezuelan catcher. Aggressive at bat.
Hoya, another one of the big power bats here on this team, Venezuela. He's only been here in the United States for a little over a year. Like you mentioned, he is the catcher for tonight's championship game. He's got a strong arm, great pop time, a lot of power.
Takes that pitch outside. The Venezuelan teams, there are three of them here, represented by top American prospects. TAP is a South Florida baseball academy run by longtime South Florida baseball man Luis Rodriguez. Now, all the players, though, as you mentioned earlier, are born first generation Venezuelans. They are growing up here in South Florida, though. And this tournament, a great opportunity, not far from where many of them are from.
And
at least their residents.
Absolutely. And as Hoya goes down, swinging for out number one, Craig, the word that just continues to be tossed around here between both of these teams is the word opportunity, and that's exactly what this tournament has provided for both of the teams and the players on it is opportunity, the opportunity to perhaps play baseball at the next level, whether that be college or whether that even be professionally for these players. But they're coming from countries where that opportunity is not given to them.
Orlando Anguilla, and nicely played by the catcher, Marlon Diaz, to get the quick out on Orlando Anguilla for the second out.
Well played by the catcher, Diaz, and we've mentioned it time and time again, but this wind is blowing, and it's blowing hard. Even a little bit chilly here in South Florida. How often do you get to say that, Craig? But Diaz played that ball perfectly, threw off the mask, and camped out under it, and held on for out number two of the inning.
So 4 in a row retired by Luis Blanco. And here's J.C. Mattier standing in. Count of 2-0. Check that way, the lineup change just before the game. Roberto Tonche is the hitter. Tonche swings and misses. Count of 2-2 now. Six 265-pound pitcher outfielder for Team Venezuela. It's full count now, 3-2. Here in the bottom of the second inning of this World Championship finale. Venezuelan with running the table so far in convincing fashion. Swing and a miss. Nicely done by Johan Diaz. He has struck out 4 tough Venezuelan hitters through 2 innings. It stays 1-0 Colombia. We'll go to the third here in Palm Beach. Welcome back to our championship tournament. Craig Minervini, Kelly Sacco, our entire outstanding crew. Glad you found us here from the 15 ballpark of the Palm Beaches, home of the Houston Astros, Washington Nationals in spring training for the last several years, here in South Florida in West Palm Beach. Frank Febles is the second baseman leading off for Colombia. 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup for Edinson Renteria's Colombian team against the Venezuelan team. And Colombia right now with a 1-0 lead. Probably a little bit surprising. They would have to be the underdog coming in. They beat the Dominican Republic 3-1, Panama 3-1, the Bahamas 7-3. And as you mentioned, the Venezuelans outscored their opposition 36-9 in their 3 games. 36-10.
36-10, but the number that just jumps out to you is at 36. I mean, you just mentioned the scores to the Team Colombia, I believe. Correct my math, we're talking majors here, but what was it, 7 total runs?
So Colombia scored 13 and gave up 5.
13.
They had the 7 in the one game.
Oh, right, the 7 in the one game.
Gave up only 5 runs, though, in 3 games.
Right, that's right.
Now,
I decided to give them 1.
The Venezuelans did have that tough game against Puerto Rico, win 9 innings, and it was a 3-2 win.
3-2 win, which they finished up today, started on Friday. Of course, the rain playing a factor all night then, caused a lot of delays and cancellations as Febles fouls off strike number 2, full count here. But again, the strengths of this Venezuelan team have been pitching and offense, and Colombia has done a great job of jumping on that pitching early.
And the Colombian pitcher, Yohan Diaz, does a nice job. Base hit to right field for the speedy Frank Febles. He'll lead off the 3rd inning. That's the 3rd hit for the Colombian team. And it'll bring up Edinson Renteria Jr.
Renteria had the first hit of this ball game with 2 outs, doubled. He would end up scoring the team's only run as Team Venezuela calls timeout. They have a meeting on the mound.
A lot of meetings here in this tournament. We saw the Rubin team meet virtually every inning with their coach, usually a gathering point, sometimes in front of the dugout after the inning, which you see a lot in youth baseball, even on this level here of outstanding baseball. A lot of future collegians probably out here. Scouts are here. And tremendous talent.
You would have to think, though, Craig, that all these meetings have to do with the fact that, well, most of these kids haven't been playing together for very long. As for Team Venezuela, they've put together this team about 30 days ago. So although they're all from the area and coming from Venezuela, they still have a lot of learning to do. And that comes in the coach's part as well. So just trying to get a feel for the players, and it comes down to not only their skill, but also their comfort level on the mound. So I'd have to assume that's exactly what the coaching staff on Team Venezuela is trying to do. Get a feel for Luis Blanco, who just gave off that leadoff hit and facing a tough Edgar Renteria at the plate, and kind of see what's going through his mind.
Colombia's hitting coach is Alexis Cabrera. He's one of the coaches in the Texas Rangers Yankees organization. Came up with El Duque.
That's a name.
Yes. And makes his home here in South Florida. Good to talk baseball with him before the game. Renteria, the manager and father of the player you're looking at here in Edinson, from Barranquilla, and also lives in Miramar, Florida. Here's the pitch. Well hit. Left field. That struck well. Rivera goes back, though. He'll play it in deep left. Again, against the wind here. We say deep left, but that wind is cooking. We'll take a look at the flags here, where you can see the wind has been really howling, and the ball's not carrying. I mean, you could see Renteria hit that ball well, and it just got plunged down by the wind.
That's the second hit from this Colombia team today that's hit very well, but results in an easy out because of the wind. And on a day where that one's still and it's not blowing, it's probably warning track power.
Minimum. So here's Ismael Capuzano, the Colombian center fielder, with 1 out, 1 on. We'll see if that changes up for Febles now to try to get into scoring position. Blanco keeping a close eye on him at first as he tossed over to Efrain Istores. Runner getting a little bit of a bigger lead. Close play at first base. And just back in is Febles.
Craig, you a video game guy?
Not really.
Neither am I, but a lot of the kids, their hobbies.
Everybody likes it now. What
Yep.
What is his big game?
Ready?
Is it?
It's go ahead and guess because you're probably gonna know this one. Is Fortnite?
Fortnite. That's the.
You know how to do
they
those
run
dances?
in cycles.
Absolutely. Those are all the little crazy dances that all the kids nowadays like.
Well, all those youngsters, huh?
Yep, Fortnite.
What was the one before that everybody was playing? Some war.
Oh, Warcraft, right? Maybe.
One of those.
I'm not a video game person either, so.
But it is popular.
So pardon me if I'm wrong there, but yes, right? Something like that. That sounds
Believe
about
so.
Right. Let's see. When I was a kid, it was the game. The PlayStations had just come out, and the Game Boys.
Oh, those were
black and
huge.
white. Those were huge. The Mario games.
Why, I can remember that initial game. It was it a Pong game? It was just a beep, and they had basically defending a
Right.
moving dot in black and white.
Craig is dating himself.
And if you could catch it on the corner, that was the key to
That was the key.
angle
key to
it, and then you were in
success.
trouble. You were in big trouble. I like speaking of baseball, because this is we're covering the game. My favorite game growing up was a game that is still around today. It's called Stratomatic Baseball, and it was a dice game. You used actual players. The hits and what have you were based on, for example, 7's the most popular number. So if you had a home run hitter, the home runs would be around the 7, 6. If you didn't hit a home run very often, it might be a 12 or a 2. And if you played the year out, the numbers would be similar to what you would see in the major league. So you'd
Very
get your
cool.
team cards, each customized. It was a big day to get those cards. But whatever sport you liked, it was one of the great baseball games. Fly ball to right field. Touche backing up. Look out, that runner better get back. Febles. Now ball's dropped in right field. Now Febles is going to have to go back to second. Look at that throw. What a
Wow.
throw from right field by Touche. And Touche is the answer at second base as he got Febles, who was going on like he was in a game of a pickle game, back and forth, running bases, if you will, and he's thrown out. A weird play.
That is a weird play, to say the least. And we've been mentioning the wind all night, and I think that's the first time that it may have played a little bit of a factor. The outfielders and the defenders have done a pretty good job, relatively speaking, here of staying under the ball. Maybe that became a factor with Touche, but hey, he makes up for it. He pops right up. His teammate shouting second base and gets Febles caught up there in a pickle. Can you even call it that? He's running back and forth. I don't even know what you can call that. He took off thinking that ball was down.
I'll tell you
Got a
what.
glove on it, ran back,
Yep.
trying to catch up. He drops it, and he's just a sitting duck. And
Ground
keeps
ball at the middle. That took a fortunate
go.
bounce there for Venezuela. What an arm, though, for Roberto Tanche out there in right field. That's a major league type arm. You saw one bouncer to second, and it wasn't even close. So we'll check out how they scored that. But the Colombians get out of the inning, do not score. Good job by Venezuela. 1-0. We'll go to the bottom of the third.
Welcome back to our championship game here in West Palm. As Team Venezuela steps up, that's Gabriel Rivera leading off the inning. 9-1-2 for Team Venezuela, who's still trying to get on board. Very tough offensive team here, and
facing a good
Colombia,
pitcher, though.
yes, facing a good pitcher. They have shut them down thus far. 2 strikeouts in the
Yohan
last
Diaz.
inning, 4 total.
Mm-hmm.
Yohan Diaz having himself a day, so Gabriel Rivera trying to turn things around for Team Venezuela as he looks at strike number 1. 2-1 count.
Diaz has retired 5 in a row and allowed just a single through the first 8 hitters. So this is the last man before they get a second look at him inside, almost hit. Gabriel Rivera with an 80-mile-an-hour fastball. Breezy night, 18U championship game, second annual tournament. This is only getting bigger and better. And that pitch is up high, ball 4, so a leadoff walk, a good start for the Venezuelan team. Here in the third inning, trying to muster something against Yohan Diaz.
That brings up Picasso Baciel. Now, Baciel played catcher all game last game and through the past couple games, so he's got the night off. He's DHing, and he's a small guy, but he can play everywhere. The coaches say he's small, but he's got the heart of a 6'3" guy, so you got to love hearing that. He was actually moved from number 10 hitter to the leadoff batter because their usual leadoff in Angulo hurt his hand during the last game during the semis, so they moved him down in the order, moved Baciel up, and he's got a little speed, so he's going to try to get things going here for Team Venezuela, who's got a runner on. No outs. He attempts to push the ball down
It's
first
a good idea.
base, didn't angle. Good idea. Got a little speed, moved the tying man into scoring position, but didn't get that bat head out in front of the plate enough, so that ends up fouling into Colombia's dugout for strike number 1.
Baciel is from Caracas, Venezuela. Is that the capital city?
That is the
It is,
capital?
right? Yes.
That is my mother's hometown.
Oh, we're at a project when I was a youngster, and we each had got a couple of countries, and Venezuela was the one I got.
That was the one I
Now,
always picked.
so how many stars are it? Did we say 8 stars are on the flag?
So, to my defense
Yes.
last game, because I was put to the test, it was originally 7. It wasn't until 2006 they added a
They
star.
added a star.
So now it is currently 8, but it was 7. So
Okay.
I was
So
correct.
there's 8 stars in the middle. The
Right.
middle stripe is blue on the Venezuelan. Is it red on top, yellow on bottom? I always
There he
mix
is.
those two up. But the flag very similar to the Colombian flag, except the Colombian flag does not have the
stars in the
semicircle
middle, yes.
star in the middle.
So for Venezuela, you got the yellow on top,
Right.
blue in the middle there, and the red on the bottom, and
And there's a
the seal.
seal and left. Runner
Top
goes
corner.
swing and a miss. Throw to second. A good throw, but stolen base. Speedy Rivera gets in there to second base. Now that is not the third strike. It's only the second strike. So Baciel took a cut at it.
Trying to protect his runner.
did,
on
and
the
it was a
2-2.
good cut, too.
Good cut, and Rivera was in there easily at second base, and that's the tying run with no outs.
Baciel also plays soccer and tennis, his favorite big leaguer. I like to see this. A little bit old school. Ivan Pudge Rodriguez.
Hey, that was one of my favorites growing up
Oh,
here
yeah.
in South Florida.
Why not?
I mean, you think Pudge, you think of that play at the plate, and we got to give Co9 a little credit too. What
Absolutely.
a
Swing and a miss there.
throw.
On the Baciel, strike 3 to him, so he's out of there. Runner on second, 1 out. Now Luis Acevedo. Acevedo popped up his first time up. Edinson Renteria the manager for Colombia, coming out. And the head coach talking with the umpire. Now he's calling over Gustavo Amana, who is the head coach of Venezuela, to discuss something with the home plate umpire. So the two head coaches might be a roster situation, maybe a batting order situation. We got to look before the game. We were talking to both coaches from each team, and it was a little confusing because we had extra hitter in there, and some of the extra guys were in the lineup. The pitcher's spot was in, his name was in there in 7th or 8th, so it's actually been a little confusing to follow. And I wonder, based on the way Renteria has the card out there, if that was one of the things he was trying to discuss. This is not the major leagues. There's not as much, obviously, information. There's no board with the lineups, but you still have to follow the baseball rules. You can't hit out of the wrong order, obviously.
Of course. And, Craig, I wonder, too, if just, country to country, they kind of set up their lineups a little differently. When we usually here in the United States, you won't include that pitcher spot in your lineup. They'll be,
right.
if you have a DH, for instance, in American League.
You wouldn't put the
pitcher in that lineup. So we saw the opposite here.
It was in there, yeah, and that kind of threw me off. I'm looking at all these hitters here. Luis Acevedo fouls that one off, 0-1, runner on second. In a 1-0 game, you're watching the 18 and under World Championship game in the second annual World Comes to the Palm Beaches tournament. Great tournament here. Kids are having a lot of fun, all age groups. The thing you notice is the talent, the defensive talent, the arms, professional approach. And Mario Signorello, the president of the Caribbean Baseball Organization, give him credit for putting together another great tournament this year. Over 25 countries and 5 continents here represented in Palm Beach County. 0-2 now to the hitter. Acevedo with Lander Suarez on deck for Venezuela.
Acevedo has a lot of tools.
Whoa,
what a...
Smack that one, Pies. What a catch by Pies in left field as he got a tremendous jump on that ball. That was smoked by Acevedo. And again, with the big wind here, you're not really ready for the ball to be hit that hard. It was on a line and a great catch in left field by Pies.
And you saw Acevedo kind of throw his head back as he was running to first base. Like, man, could I hit that ball any harder?
No.
Hey, you think, 9 times out of 10 that's a hit. But again, like you said, that wind and played perfectly out there. And
that's
that
trouble.
That's trouble. That results for out number 2. And in this game, sometimes you got to have a little luck as well. That wind is helping some teams out.
And the outfield could play a little bit more shallow than they normally would play, even with the big hitters up. Here's Lander Suarez, number 3 hitter. Singled, first time up, sharp single in the first inning.
And he's got the only hit of the night for Team Venezuela into 3 innings. And that's, again, from a team that scores so many runs, rare. And he looks at strike number 2. Nice changeup. 67 miles per hour. Not what Suarez is looking for. We've seen his power there early in the game, and he's able to put a nice at-bat together. So
He'd take a nice single right now, too,
right.
Kelly, wouldn't he? The runner goes, and a high pop-up. That wind could carry it. Diaz giving it a look, but it goes into the seats 4 rows back. Runner going back. There is some value. People say, why would you try to steal third with 2 outs? Well, you score on an infield error, an infield ground ball. It could be a hit, a wild pitch, pass ball. So there is some value, but you don't want to get thrown out. Don't make the third out at third base.
You got to have a lot of confidence in your runner there to not only their speed, but also to get a good jump.
And you can't always get away with it more than once in an at-bat. Now Diaz might be looking a little bit closer as Frank Febles comes a little bit creeping into second base. Diaz takes a look at the runner, and now fighting it off, a good swing by Suarez. Foul off the 0-2 offer. Diaz looking in for his sign from the Colombian catcher, Marlon Diaz. Inching off second is Gabriel Rivera. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Inside, 1-2. Time is called at the plate by Lander Suarez. Count of 1-2 in our third inning. 7-inning ball game. 18 and under World Championship game. 1-2 pitch again, fought off. You could see the difficulty the Venezuelans are having with the outstanding pitching of Diaz. Having said that, good job there to foul off a couple of tough pitches in this at-bat by Suarez.
I think it's very important, something that is very impressive at this age, to understand what pitch in your approach at the bat, what pitch you're looking for. And if you don't get that pitch, but it's still in the strike zone, the ability to foul it off is very impressive. And that's what we're seeing from Lander Suarez here tonight.
Here's the 1-2. Line drive and caught at shortstop by Septimo. And that'll end the inning. So again, threatening but not scoring Venezuela through 3 in the 18 and under championship game. Colombia leads 1-0.
Taking place at the American Baseball Stadium. It's going to run through Saturday and into Sunday late. Should be fun. Event director Mario Cigarello defines it as sportsation, and guess what? It's going to bring a lot of fun out and a spotlight for our little ones.
We call this a sportcation. This is a sporting event, which is good for the competitors here. It's also good for the quality of life for the locals because the kids get to be in an international tournament and never leave the island.
Welcome you back to our 18 and under World Championship game here in West Palm Beach, Florida. That is strike one by Luis Blanco. Team Venezuela again threatening in the bottom of the third, comes up empty. They had a couple runners on. They're struggling against this tough Colombia pitching. Colombia scored one early in the first. They're looking to tack on a couple more. Luis Blanco.
Kelly, the Venezuelan team has a couple of players with the same number, 25, and public address announcer Lou Palmer said Kevin Rodriguez is the hitter here.
Kevin Rodriguez, and like we said
Do you have
before,
that?
folks, there have been some speculations here with lineups and a few of the players wearing different jerseys. But, you know, Craig, again, that comes back to the spirit of this tournament, right? It's kids coming from countries and places that they wouldn't necessarily get these opportunities, and they're just happy to have a jersey on their back. They don't care that
Absolutely.
they're sharing a number. They're just happy to be out here. So we now have the correct batter who went down swinging then, and that was
Kevin Rodriguez.
Kevin Rodriguez.
Although he would prefer, we probably said it was Lermit Paez because there was a strikeout there, but he'll get him again.
And that brings up the catcher, Marlon Diaz. He looks at strike number 1. Diaz grounded out to the second baseman in the second inning. Luis Blanco, all in all, having a good game. A couple mix up here, and he once again grounds out to second base for out number 2. That brings out Febles, and Febles reached on an error, the second of 2 errors here tonight, here in the second. That was a couple innings ago. He had to reach, but Team Colombia wasn't able to capitalize on that. First pitch swinging. He skies one high. Looks like out number 3. And again, you see that wind playing a factor. But Lender Suarez able to hang on. That is 3 up, 3 down for Team Venezuela as they get their shot here in the bottom of the 4th.
I'll talk. Welcome back to Palm Beach, the 18 and under World Championship game. Venezuela in blue, trailing Colombia in the red, 1-0. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Outstanding job so far for Yohan Diaz, who has gone the first 3 innings for the Colombians, allowing just the 1 hit. That was the 3rd batter he faced. Since then, he has struck out 4 hitters and retired 8 out of the last 9 as Kelly Sacco takes over here, bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, Colombia's pitching has just been absolutely dominant, shutting down this powerful Venezuelan offense as Isturias swings at the first pitch and pops out for out number 1. Well played by Diaz. Tossing off his mask, getting to the warning track, and coming out with that first out. That brings up Roberto. So Roberto looking for his first hit. Roberto Swanee. He's looking for his first hit on the night. He struck out swinging in the first. Takes ball number 1. 1-1 count. This Venezuelan team just looking for anything to get that offense going. Johan Diaz has been absolutely dominant, holding Team Venezuela to just one hit on the night, and that was all the way back in the first inning by Lander Suarez, the number 3 batter. That win carries that one out of bounds into the stands for strike number 2. Roberto, an RBI type guy. Also a right-handed pitcher. You see that a lot, especially at the younger age groups. Pitchers who can hit, definitely something with, definitely nice to see after watching all the MLB games. And generally speaking, you see the pitchers just kind of stand up there with a bat and sit right back down, but not in the case of Roberto Suani, who is now at a full count. He got the big win against Team Puerto Rico, walk-off win, and that is lined foul down into the stands at third base. Turned on that one nicely. Team Colombia playing straight up. He pops one up, not happy with that.
Gotta like that, huh?
I like the aggressiveness by Diaz. And generally speaking, you don't want your pitcher to be the one calling that ball. But I don't know if the catcher should either, because look at the angle that he's got. That would be a really tough play. But I do like how aggressive he was. And that is nonetheless out number 2 for Colombia to bring up Andres Hoya.
Absolutely. Took charge of the play. Normally you don't see it, but
good hustle.
it's kind of the way he's taking this game. He's taken charge of this game. He's taken charge of a Venezuelan lineup that had scored 36 runs in the previous 3 games. He's got that big overhand, and that ball jumps on you the way he throws. Big overhand fastball that's coming at you at 84 and only going to get sharper and increase in velocity as he gets older and stronger. And he's been downright dominating in this 18-under game.
And dominating against cannot say enough, a strong Venezuelan team who has just been very strong offensively. And of all the teams to shut down, this is a tough one to do so.
Pitching is the name of the game, of course, in baseball. And if you get a big pitching arm, they always say, how does momentum begin? And it's always with the next day's pitcher. Now the question will be, how long can Diaz go? Can he keep it up? It's still only halfway through the ball game, and it's a slim 1-0 lead for the Colombian team in red.
Great at bat by Andres Hoya. Sometimes when you're swinging the bat and just nothing's happening for you, again with this wind, you can't hit anything in the air, a walk is just as welcomed as a hit. And Andres Hoya does just that with 2 outs. Another meeting on the mound.
So the Colombia team is going to talk it over here with 2 outs and a kind of a key spot in a 1-0 game.
Only the second walk of the night. That brings up Orlando Angulo. Now, Orlando Angulo hurt his finger earlier in the day against, I believe it was the game prior to this, the semis that they played against Team Canada.
Yeah.
That 15-1 win. He injured his finger. He's usually the leadoff batter, and the coaches say that Angulo is the catalyst for this team. He's the one who's in the dugout, always getting everybody pumped up. And it looks like Team Venezuela is
We're going to pinch run, it looks like.
pinch run.
And I think that is Salvatore Penalver, who's going to pinch run, number 13, for the catcher, Hoyo. Now maybe that's a move you wouldn't make early in the tournament in a 4th inning, but that just shows you they're looking at a pitcher who's dominating, saying we got to score at least a run off this guy as long as he's in the ball game, and maybe getting to the scoring position or get one in the gap here will enable a runner to get home with 2 outs.
Only the 4th time a runner has reached base in as many innings. You just got to make something happen sometimes. And again, maybe not something you do early on in the tournament, but because it is the championship game, you make these kind of moves. And again, you've got Angulo up to bat, one of your team leaders, someone who really gets the team pumped up, understands the game, hurt his finger. That's why he's been dropped down lower in the lineup. But generally, their leadoff batter and your leadoff batter works the count, as Angulo is doing so here right now. So a lot of faith in their leader of this team to get something rolling. They're trying to help him out with a little more speed on the base paths.
Angulo's favorite player, Omar Vizquel. Great Major League shortstop, of course. Infielder. He is known as an extrovert, outgoing, and confident. And since you are the Venezuelan expert, Kelly, I wanted you to tell me the name of his hometown that he put down on his bio sheet. Barquisimeto?
Sounds right to me. We're using the term expert very loosely here.
Not really. Your mother is from Caracas.
From Caracas, this is true.
So
I have not been back since I was 8 years old. The country is going through a little bit of turmoil
strife
here, and hence why a lot of the players on this team feel so honored to be here today. They've never played in a facility like this. They know how blessed they are, is what the coaching staff told me. As the runner on the move, but foul tip. And Angulo's still alive, but they've never been able to play under these kind of circumstances, under the lights in such a beautiful facility. So they feel very blessed and very, very humbled to be here tonight. And also, a lot of these kids haven't been able to play for the team that's on their chest, so they find it very they're very proud to wear their country on their chest. And again, something that they hadn't been able to do, even when playing back in Venezuela growing up. Runners on the move and slides into second, but no need.
And no throw.
No throw. And the count is full.
That's a big base for Venezuela.
That is a big base for Venezuela. Yes, there are 2 outs. However, they now have the tying man in scoring position. And Angulo, like we mentioned before, usually the leadoff batter, knows how to work the count, has done just that. We'll see what he does. And the payoff pitch is close, but called low and inside. Angulo takes his base. The second walk.
If it missed, it just missed.
If it missed, it just missed. From up here, it looked good.
I thought that was over the inside part of the plate from here.
I thought it clipped the inside corner, but
we'll have to check in between innings with St. Martin and see what they saw back in where they review the replay for the 18 and under international tournament.
That's ball 1 to Roberto
of course you can't review balls and strikes, just like the major leagues.
Right. Now, what's your opinion on that, Craig? Do you think one day they're going to go to that?
Oh,
nope.
Wait a minute. No.
I think I just changed it for you.
I jumped your question.
You jumped my question. My question is is electrical strike zones. What's the proper name for that?
The
computer strike zones.
The computerized strike zone.
Computerized strike zone.
Right.
What's your opinion on that?
I thought you were going to say, do you like it? I thought you were going to say, and then you said, do you think they're going to go to it? I think it's possible they could go to it. I wouldn't like to see it. I wouldn't like to see it. I like the human element. I think replay is overdone in baseball.
Agree. And for a game that they're trying to speed up, replay has done just the opposite. Our
producer's upset
down.
Because his whole life is replays and video, and he wants to take over the game. And I understand it. As a viewer, I enjoy watching a ball game, obviously seeing the great replays that we have, but I just think it slowed the game too much.
I agree.
I'd like to see it limited to maybe the last 3 innings on everything, and the first 6. Forget about these ticky-tack plays at second base where you're a micro inch off the base and you're called out.
Exactly. I believe that these games after the replay system has been introduced into the game, and a lot of changes when it comes to mound visits and other little changes in time in between pitches, as that ball loops for out number 3. Team Venezuela once again not able to capitalize. They're still down 1-0 as we head into the top of the 5th.
Welcome back. I'm Craig Minervini with Kelly Sacco and our entire crew to the 18 and under World Championship International Tournament. A little pop by Paez, going to first, throw it quickly. Safe at first is the call. Diego Paez beats it out. Now we'll see if the Venezuelans are going to challenge. Now we don't have the challenge. They cannot go to St. Martin, where we had a crew standing by, but it was determined before the game that they would not use video review. So Paz beats it out. That's an infield single. And here is Jason Septimo. Good speed by Paz. Good play, too, by Angulo over at second base. Now they shorten up closer to the bag, up the middle, trying to turn 2 here. Septimo, the leadoff hitter, is 0 for 2. Quick move to first. Both starters still in there. Why not? 4 innings of work for Luis Blanco. He's allowed 4 hits and 1 run.
This would be a big out for Team Venezuela. You got Septimo, who's very fast. He likes to steal bases. And you don't want a guy who can be on the move here tonight. He is still looking for his first hit on the night. This is a fun one. Favorite player, Manny Machado. How about Manny Machado? Big free agent.
Mm-hmm. He bunts. It's a very good bunt. Going to be a tough play for the pitcher. He throws off the back heel and gets him. What a play by Luis Blanco off his back heel. He had to go a long way to field that ball. It is a sacrifice bunt and a good one at that. And Colombia moves up the runner to scoring position.
And not only was that well done, a great jump on the bag, but that throw had to be quick and right on the money. You saw the speed of Septimo right there, but nonetheless, he moves the runner over. And Colombia is threatening again here in the top of the 5th with 1 out.
Frank Febles, that's a tricky pop, and that's going to drop for a base hit for Febles. Going to third is Diego Paez, and it's first and third with one out for the Colombians. He was able to elevate it just enough to get it over the head of Orlando Angulo over at second base for Team Venezuela. And here's Edinson Renteria Jr.
Before the game, Team Venezuela's game plan when it came to pitching was let's throw Blanco out there and hopefully get 4, maybe 5 innings out of him. And you have to wonder, with runners on the corners and just one out, with Team Colombia threatening once again, if this might be it for Luis Blanco. And if it is, we've got some arms warming up in the bullpen. Justin Diaz, one of the possibilities for Team Venezuela.
That's Alexis Cabrera.
And he's waving down.
The coach getting together for Colombia in the third base box. But I think you're right. We're going to have a call to the bullpen. Brought to you by Kelly Sacco. So new pitcher coming in the game for Venezuela. And we'll step aside, tell you who the new pitcher is. When we return, it is 1-0 Colombia here in the top of the fifth of the 18 and under World Baseball Championship.
It's a new pitcher for Team Venezuela. On the mound, that's number 7. That's Justin Diaz. He is ready to go. It's his first day, has yet to pitch in this tournament. What we can expect from Justin Diaz is he's got some good velocity, low to mid 80s. He is a senior in high school. Very similar to Luis Blanco, who pitched a fantastic 4 1/3 inning. He's
Blanco.
Go ahead. He is a fastball pitcher, likes to locate his pitch. Locate his pitches. He likes to keep it low. Ground ball pitcher is what we're expecting, and that's what Team Venezuela needs to try to stay in this game.
First and third spot. Good play over at first. Trying to get Febles. Renteria is the hitter. Colombia leads 1-0. Blanco going into second base. He'll stay in the game and replace Orlando Angulo, who comes out for Team Venezuela.
Now, as we had mentioned before, Angulo.
Shot to third
wow,
off
what
the
a
glove.
shot.
That's going to be a base hit. And score a run as Renteria delivers. And it's 2-0 Colombia. Paez scores. Going to second is Febles. Zwanny did a good job just to get a glove on that one. And at least limit the damage to a single, advancing the runners one base each.
And Craig, they call it the hot corner for a reason. You see it right there. That ball comes off the bat quick, and that Roberto even got a glove on it. Limited Team Colombia to just one run. They've got runners on first and second now with 2 outs. Nope, 1 out.
Ismael Campuzano is up. He's 1 for 2 at RBI in the first. Takes that pitch on the corner. That's a sharp slider, 83 miles an hour. Good arm, you could see, from Justin Diaz, the pitcher. Andre Hoyo came back in to catch here. And a little nubber, it went off the foot. That'll be a foul ball. I will have to check because the catcher is wearing number 43, Kelly. And Hoyo was taken out for a pinch runner in the 4th inning. But that's his jersey number. There's a ground ball, base hit. Runners will move up a base. Big hit for Campuzano, yes, so it's bases loaded.
Runner on first and second had Lender Suarez cheating up the middle, and he wasn't able to get to that ball.
So Anuris Christopher, a power-hitting right fielder for Colombia, comes in. Big right-handed hitter. Venezuelans changing their defense. They're going to come in a little bit, and they really have to. It's the 5th inning. They haven't done much against the talented Johan Diaz. And there's some runners there. They want to chop off at the plate. They're actually playing up the middle deep. Ground ball, base hit right field. That will score 1. Febles comes in, rounding third, but being held up is Renteria. So they advance 90 feet again. Station is station, working out well for Colombia here. And they have a 3-0 lead.
Team Colombia hitting it where Venezuela is not. And that was another example of just that, as Christopher sits on that ball, able to push it down to the right field and just past first baseman is Torres.
Kevin Rodriguez, first pitch hitting. It's a blooper to center field. He's not going to get it, is he? He dives. Did he make the catch? He did. What a catch by Luis Acevedo in center field, and a smart job by the runners not to take off. But Acevedo made one of the best plays we've seen in the tournament right there. Wow.
And that's what you need. If you're the pitcher, you're Justin Diaz, you need someone to come up with that big play after 2 back-to-back base knocks. And he's the one who does it. Diving catch. What a fantastic play by Luis Acevedo.
Saved at least a run on that play. Gets them an out closer to getting out of this inning. Then first pitch swinging is Diaz near the first base dugout, but it comes out of play. So the bases remain loaded. Now 2 outs and a escape hatch here potentially for Venezuela and Justin Diaz. Still only 3-0. The Colombians have out-hit the Venezuelans 7-1 now. Pitch on the way, took something off that one, strike 2. And swing and a miss. Good job, though, to get out of that inning without more damage by Justin Diaz. So a big inning for Colombia. They get 2, and they lead this 18-under World Championship game 3-0. Venezuela will come up bottom of the 5th.
Welcome back to West Palm Beach, Florida, where Team Colombia tack on 2 more runs. They have a 3-0 lead here to enter the bottom of the 5th, and it's a new pitcher for Team Colombia, number 23, Andres Tapia. He'll be taking the mound against the 9-1-2 hitters, and he's looking to continue a fantastic performance by Johan Diaz, who held Team Venezuela to just 1 hit, allowed just 4 base runners over as many innings.
Gabriel Rivera leading off. He walked in the 3rd inning for Venezuela. He is the number 9 hitter in the lineup. And now that score becoming an issue for Venezuela after giving up 2. They're down by 3. They haven't mustered much offensively. Now, they did score 33 runs against the USA and Canada, but the other game, and against a very good Puerto Rican team, they scored 3, and that was a walk-off win, and that happens. You play a good defensive-style baseball team with a good pitcher, you're not going to, I don't care who your offense is, you could be the 27 Yankees, you're not going to necessarily score a ton of runs, but they've been held in check by the Colombians here. So 3-1 count. Big at bat for Rivera to try and get on with the top of the order on its way for Venezuela. And you can hear the breeze in our microphones that continues to whistle in from the outfield here in West Palm Beach.
But that rain holding off, at least for now. The games on Friday were either rained out or delayed.
Oh, Septimo went under his glove.
Couldn't come up with it. He pulls his head at the very last second, gets a glove on it, but wasn't able to come through with a play, and that results in Gabriel Rivera advancing to first base. And the lead off The leadoff man is on, and that brings up the top of the order. And we've got a pinch hitter. That is number 9, Luis Blanco.
So Blanco, who is the pitcher, will come up to the plate here. We'll have to check that with our statistician here. Runner on first, nobody out.
Like we mentioned before, a little confusion with the rosters on both
Yes.
on both teams. So hang with us, folks. We're doing the best we can here. But it isn't uncommon at this age group and on these teams that the pitchers not only hit but are fairly good at it.
And they very often will stay in the ball game.
Switch around to different positions, and he draws a 2-1 count. Big inning for Team Venezuela, who's got the leadoff man on and the top of the order up. They're going to try to get things rocking here, down by 3 late in the game. And, of course, these games go to 7 innings. That is Tapia trying to keep the runner close. Colombia playing some straight-up defense, center field. Cheating in a little bit, as is right, left hanging back just a tad, and it's because, as you can hear it in our microphones, that wind is still blowing hard, and it's blowing dead straight center, and he breaks the bat.
Renteria for 1 over the first. Double play. Nicely turned. Renteria, Fables, and Rodriguez. 5-4-3. That quickly 2 men away.
5-4-3, and let's talk about the concentration because Blanco there broke his bat. Actually, it looked like he got jammed on that pitch, and the majority of his bat goes flying out there towards third base, but Renteria keeps his composure and turns 2, and now just like that, Team Venezuela got that opportunity just taken right from them.
Yes,
Let's see if they
2
can get a
outs
2-out
quickly.
rally going.
I mean, here you're thinking, well, we get this guy on, we get first and second, we get tying run comes to the plate, and that was a smooth turn, you're right, by Renteria over there at third. So 2 outs, and Acevedo made a great play himself in the last inning in center field. He has a count of 1-1 on him from the lefty, so that was a big one for Tapia too, to get the 2 outs with 1 pitch. Colombian scored 1 in the first and added 2 more in the 5th.
That's Luis Acevedo, who fouled off strike number 1. He's still looking for his first hit of the night, as is the majority of this Venezuelan lineup.
His favorite player, Jose Altuve. Ground ball to second base. That's where Altuve plays as well. Fables, though, throws the first, and that's it. So a big double play helps out Colombia. We're through 5 at the 18 and under World Championship game. 3-0 Colombia. Welcome back here to our 1800 World Championship Baseball game. Craig Benavini joined by Mario Signorello. The outstanding job, Mr. Signorello, my friend who is doing a great job with the Caribbean Baseball Organization. And this tournament's been outstanding, Mario.
Great. Thanks, Craig. It's glad to have me on. Two Italians on the same time. That might be a little scary.
And we just had some pizza up here, too.
Yeah, we had Team Italy here for the first time this year. Team Italia.
They did have the best spread in the clubhouse, I understand, with some fettuccine Alfredo, from what I heard.
They had a 3-hour lunch at one of our sponsors, so they've been good for the tournament.
Roberto Febles swings and misses, count 0-1. He's 0 for 2 in the game for Team Colombia here in the 6th inning. What has impressed you most about the talent and the tournament this year, your second annual?
A lot of things I think are so cool about this that it's come together, but one of the coolest parts is this has been a place like for Major League Baseball players to be and to be able to hang out. I mean, for my own organization, Charles Johnson and Luis Castillo did a seminar the other day that was just unbelievable for the kids, and it was the times of their lives. So you had kids coming from Italy and Lithuania and Russia that are walking up, and they can't believe that the guys from their TV, they get to see them here.
We saw a bunch here. They're swinging a miss. Look at the play, though, by Hoya. Looking very much like a big league catcher himself. That's what I've noticed watching the players here.
Yeah,
we saw the throw before from right field. Just amazing.
These kids can play. Asdrubal Cabrera comes in to watch the Venezuelan team. He was at the 10U and 12U championships. Then he comes over here to play. Devon White from Jamaica comes out to see the Jamaican team today and gave them a little pep talk. And I walked up to the field the other day, and there's Jabari Blash from Los Angeles Angels center fielder. Came to see his old coach, Michael Butte, who he played for when he was 10 years old, because he was playing here.
Here's Diego Paez. Takes a strike after that big cut, 0-2. From the pitcher, looked very good for Venezuela. Justin Diaz came in after Blanco through the first 4 innings here. And swinging a miss. Then he goes off speed on him and strikes out his 3rd in a row. Is this a surprise at all in this game?
Probably not. These teams were. I mean, when you look at it, both these brackets were stacked. I think the one surprise was the Dominican Republic, who brought a lot of prospects, but they were young. But the Venezuela, Colombia, Edison Renteria, Edgar's brother, is the president of the professional league in there, so he brought in some real studs to be able to play. Panama was loaded. Panama, there were some people that were surprised that Panama's not here in the defending champion, and even the Bahamas came to play. They had a kid go 5 for 5 against the DR with 2 home runs.
There's a strike to leadoff man Jason Septimo. The Colombian team beat Panama 3-1, and the Bahamian team you talked about, Mario, 7-3 in this tournament. Also beat the Dominican Republic. So they've had a tough schedule if you look at it. Dominican Republic, Panama, and the Bahamas to get here. Yeah, and the Venezuelan team got USA. They crushed the USA and Canada, and then had that tight walk-off win over Puerto Rico.
Yeah, they've really upgraded their talent this year with the team that he's brought in. He did a tryout, and he selected some pretty good players that have come together, and they've gelled together as a team.
1-2 count. That's chopped over to third.
Craig, some of the other neat is you'll see some of the teams will do walk-up music, and they'll play music in between innings. I know the Jamaica team had their walk-up music. I know the Puerto Rican team had the music being played in the sides. To see the fans that bring the flag and put it in front of there.
Lou Palmer wanted to play some of his old Lawrence Welk music, but they would not allow the public address announcer to do just that. Swing and a miss. Will you stay with us for a moment?
Sure.
All right, we'll check back with you. We're in the middle of the 6th at the 1800 World Championship game. It's 3-0 Colombia. Back with Mario Signorello, the president of the Caribbean Baseball Organization that brought this great tournament back for a second year. We've seen tremendous growth. We have 5 continents, over 27 countries represented. What about going into next year? I hate to hit you with that already because I know the amount of work you guys have to do to get it ready, but what's it looking for 2019?
We grew from 15 to 36 teams, and then this upcoming year, I think we could potentially double ourselves again.
Really?
The countries that we've heard from, what happens is the people that couldn't get it in time this year, like Brazil for sure is coming next year. El Salvador is coming next year. Taiwan, we expect to see a team from this year. We've heard from a private school over there that does games. Honduras.
Lander Suarez up here. He's 1 for 2 for Venezuela. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. 3-0. Lefty Andres Tapia is on the mound here for Colombia, trying to finish it off. They need 6 more outs to win the 18 and under championship.
Yeah. I said Nigeria this year was supposed to come. They were supposed to bring 2 teams. They had 97 people. They got turned down for visas. Honduras,
is that right?
Chose the wrong time, I think, to go for visas and got turned down also. Venezuela had one of the top academy team that was going to bring players over and combine with this team also got turned down, as did Dominican Republic Open team and a team from Kenya that wanted to come over.
A pop-up in the short left field. Pius and Septimo. Pius struggling with the wind, and did he catch it? No, I don't believe so. I think it dropped. Again, we've been talking about the wind. Even the hitter Suarez started walking back. But it's going to be, I believe, a blue base hit.
As a former college pitcher, that should be an error.
Not with the wind.
Doesn't matter. If I think you should have caught it, it's an error. That's the way we think.
Well, you are the head of the Caribbean Baseball Organization, so I would not want to argue with you. I enjoyed this and would like to come back in 2019. But to me, that's a blue base hit.
Craig, I appreciate having you and Kelly here. The same way Charles and Luis came out. I appreciate having all my Marlins friends here.
Efrain Isturez, that's a break for Venezuela. Can they take advantage of it now? Lefty against lefty.
Just to follow up, Spain, Estonia, Nicaragua, Brazil, Argentina, Chile are all teams that sound pretty strong to come here for next year.
That's hit off and fouled on the third base side by Isturez, fighting off that pitch. Well, how about the growth of Colombia? You see it with some major leaguers sprinkling in now. Obviously, everybody knows Edgar Renteria from Barranquilla, but he was a rarity back in the day to make the major leagues. Now you have teams like this competing at this level, and more scouts checking out Colombian baseball players, especially with the political strife in Venezuela. Chopper hit toward third. There's Renteria. Still goes to second for 1 on the first, and they turn another double play. Unbelievable. 2 big double plays.
That's top-notch baseball right there.
Wow. How about Renteria over at third base?
That's top-notch baseball. That's yes. Your timing of that statement was correct. I mean, with the Marlins, one of our relievers throws 104 miles an hour with
Tehran Guerrero,
right out of Colombia, and as raw as can be. He lived on an island where he had to take a boat for an hour each day just to be able to go to practice for it.
That's right. And if he didn't make that boat, he had to walk through a jungle.
And if you a lot of your listeners know, but Colombia last year, Edgar Renteria Stadium, a 12,000-seat stadium in Barranquilla, which is like the city of baseball.
Right.
That's the only city in Colombia where baseball is probably more
popular
than soccer is. And we can see with the kids and with the teams that he brought in. I mean, these guys just look like they got a major league feel when they come out there. And playing in the WBC the way they did, and going toe to toe with the Dominican Republic, this is the next up and coming country.
Teams are spending money, taking a look at Colombia much closer than the past. Roberto Zuani is the third baseman. He's 0 for 2. Takes that pitch, 1 ball and 1 strike from the lefty. Tapia did a great job in relief of what an effort for Johan Diaz. He went 4 innings in this game, allowing no runs, and he was almost unhittable, allowing just the 1 Venezuelan hit.
Craig, just some of the other things I want to let people know that we do is each country gets an adopt a country program. This is somebody that meets you at the airport. You'll go out they'll do an equipment drive for you. You'll go out and they'll do some practice at some of the youth fields that they come out. They also got a major league seminar that was given the other day by Charles Johnson and Luis Castillo. Lynn University does a clinic for the 10 and 12-year-olds because we start at that age. We also have a skills tryout that we do with the Major League Baseball showcase that we had the other day, and we had about half the major league teams that were here looking at the kids.
That is outstanding. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Roberto Zwani. He fouls it off back to the right side.
Yeah, so we look at this as a total baseball experience. India didn't come here expecting to win games, but they've had the time of their lives being able to play with these kids. They're doing some co-practices with a high school that we're sending them out to, in Miami and other schools around here, which is just invaluable for these kids.
Here's the payoff pitch, 3-2 foul back. Good at bat here for Roberto Zwani. Well, they're having a great time. They get to play in a major league facility. Not just the main stadium, which is great, but the backfields here are very impressive. Now, the wind has been a big factor rolling in. I'm sure the hitters were wishing it was going the other direction. You don't have that kind of pull?
Well, remember, I was a college pitcher through 82 miles an hour, so
there you go.
The wind coming in.
You like that?
Yes, it brought it up to 83.
Just what the doctor ordered. Well, Zwani works out the 2-out walk. And that'll bring up Andres Hoya, the catcher for Venezuela. And that might be it for the lefty Tapia. It looks like they're going to the bullpen. Now, normally we would step aside here for one of our sponsors, but let's stay with you here because there's so much to talk about with the tournament going on and the closing couple of days here. The United States teams, will you even have more from the United States? We had a team here this year, obviously, that we saw in both of the tournaments.
Well,
in all the tournaments.
Yeah, of the 5 different age divisions that we've had, the U.S. has only won 1 title, so 3 of the 4 are going to go to other ones. We had the Venezuela, the United States Virgin Islands beat Venezuela in the 12 and under division.
Wow!
In the 15 and under division, you saw the U.S. team, which was victorious, and they'd lost to Aruba earlier in the day, and they had a real close game against Mexico. So
that was a good ball game, even against Aruba today. Yeah. The game that we saw, that we televised, 5-2.
Yeah, it's opened their eyes. It's definitely opened their eyes as to what these kids can do. Tomorrow, we got our open division team being played against Puerto Rico, who's got some ex-professional players that are on their roster.
So open 18, over 18 could be
over 18,
could
right.
be 50 years old. Not that you will be, but it is 18 and over.
It's just like the major leagues. There's no restrictions over there. Jamie Moore could make a comeback and go ahead and pitch in this division. And we're playing those games at Little Fenway tomorrow.
Well, that's nice over in Delray Beach.
In Delray Beach.
Yes.
The other interesting one is we had 14 teams in the 18 and under division. And we've got Jamaica and U.S. Virgin Islands expected to square off, and the Caribbean atmosphere with those games should be unbelievable with it. We've also got Team Earth, which was an interesting team.
Team Earth.
Team Earth. Team Earth is a unified team.
Now, where are they from?
Well, the coach is from Japan, originally from China.
Yeah.
He's originally from the U.S. He worked for Nike, and then he started a baseball academy in a private school, and that went so well that the school just hired him to do the baseball academy. His son is mother's Philippine. He's married to a Philippine woman, so the son's from Philippines, but he lives in China. He lives in China right now.
Yeah.
They brought a teammate over whose mom is from Taiwan. His dad is from Australia. They've got 2 players from Bonaire, Ecuador, Nicaragua, and I think one other player from Korea and from Vietnam. All are on this one team called Team Earth.
Wow. You are really getting the word out there to have a Team Earth. I'm wondering, I know they're going to Mars later this month. Are you Sending any scouts up there, perhaps?
There's somebody like me in every country in the world. I just need to find them, and I've been pretty successful. And when I talk to people, it's just baseball is a universal language. So when you find somebody that talks baseball,
Yeah.
there's a guy from Russia here making his 5th trip here just to participate in different events that I have, and he recruited the coach from Lithuania, whose son is on the major league team this year, the first Lithuanian
Wow.
ever. He got signed as a 16-year-old, and this year was his rookie year with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And he'll be at the Lithuania games tomorrow.
Great stories here at this tournament growing as Andre Hoya takes a look at Wilberto Feble's pitch, takes it for a strike. Zwaney is on first, although it's 3-0 and Venezuela hasn't challenged too much. Get another runner on. They've got the tying run coming up. And they have 4 outs to play with.
Never over till it's over.
That's right. And it's only a 3-run deficit. That's not much, obviously.
The opening game of the tournament was the Dominican Republic and Colombia, and there was a 2-out misplayed ball by with the score of 4-1. Misplayed fly ball with two men on, and by the third baseman who lost the ball in the wind in foul territory. Next pitch was a double. Now it's 4-3. 2 pitches later, a single, and all of a sudden, within 4 pitches, 1 error, and the score's 4-4.
It happened that quickly. Fouled off back to the screen. Justin Diaz is the on-deck hitter, hoping to bat here in the bottom of the 6th inning of this 18-under World Championship game. So this year we mentioned 27 countries, all the teams. Next year, you expecting a lot more teams.
Yeah, I've heard from so many different, and the visas were a little bit harder to attain this year, so we're educating ourselves on the process of what needs to be done to be able to get help this. Congresswoman Lois Franco's office was instrumental in helping some of the teams be able to come here by just helping up the communication process of it. We want to be able to let the embassies know that these people are coming here for baseball. This is who they are and what they're coming for, and that they've been here before, and that they are participating in this event, and that it is supported by the local community over here. The Palm Beach County Sports Commission was the ones who originally came to me and said, "Hey, this stadium was built, and can you bring your international teams here?"
Runner goes, swing and a miss, struck him out. Big strikeout for the Colombians here in the 6th inning. They maintain a 3-0 lead. We'll go to the 7th. Colombia coming up, leading by 3 in the championship game. Mario, thank you very much. Good chatting with you, and thanks for all the insight as well.
Great. Thanks for having me, and thanks for coming out.
All right, we'll see you next year as well here at the 2019 World Baseball Championship. 3-0, back with more. Final inning, perhaps, with Colombia leading by 3. Welcome back to the 7th inning of our 18 Under World Championship game. World coming to the Palm Beaches tournament. You're just tuning in. Greg Minervini, Kelly Sacco. We thank Mario Signorello for joining us, president of the Caribbean Baseball Organization, who has just done a wonderful job with all these teams from, as you heard from him, all over the world, literally, including a Team Earth participating this year and even more next year. But this is the wrap-up game in the 18 under, and right now it's Colombia in the final inning with the regulation anyway, with a 3-0 lead. Venezuela would like to get back, tie it, go ahead, and when they get a shot. But first they're going to have to get 3 big outs here, and for the call again, here's Kelly Sacco.
And that's right, and leaning off the inning here in the top of the 7th is Frank Febles, and he's had quite the game himself. He's scored a run. He's 2 for 3 with a couple singles. We'll see what he can do here in his 4th at bat. That's Justin Diaz on the mound. Came in a couple innings ago.
If you're looking, if Colombia hangs on.
And that is hit sharply to second base. That is Blanco with the first out of the inning, and you saw the speed there by Febles, but again hit pretty quick, so that's out number 1. That brings up Edgar Renteria, and what a day he's had, Greg.
Yes, he has. He'd be one of my candidates, I think, for MVP if Colombia wins. 2 for 3, outstanding defense, RBI double. You have to consider Johan Diaz as well with his 4 scoreless innings to set the tone for Colombia in this game. I would say those are the 2 leading figures for Colombia should they win this game.
I'd have to agree with you, Craig. What's really impressed me most is not only the way that this Colombian team has attacked the pitching in Team Venezuela, but just, wow, what a performance by Diaz holding that team scoreless. That is fouled off. Still 2 strikes here to Edison Renteria. As we mentioned before, what a game for him. He's scored 2 runs with an RBI single, a double in the first inning.
RBI?
Lined out RBI, yes, RBI single in the 5th. Lined out to left field in the 3rd, but I put a little asterisk next to that one because as we were mentioning, this wind has been blowing so hard that if it wasn't for these weather conditions, that may have been his 3rd hit as he grounds out softly to shortstop, nearly misses beating it out. And that's out number 2 for Team Venezuela.
Suarez made a real nice play on that. He knew he had a speedy guy in Renteria, and he threw a bullet to first base to get him out. And first 2 retired here by Diaz. And now Ismael Campuzano is up. He's had a good game, too. He's 2 for 3 with an RBI.
Again, the top half of this Colombian offense really getting it going against Team Venezuela, and then having Johan Diaz in the pitching on Team Colombia, holding this Venezuelan team to no runs, who again scored 36 throughout the course of this tournament, and that was in 3 games. 36 runs, and they've held scoreless here tonight. And that one just gets by Blanco on the right side of the infield for Campaso's 3rd hit of the night. That brings up Christopher. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI single.
He swings an aggressive bat as well. Ooh.
Oof, that one looked like it hurt.
Right off the ankle or shin. And he is in some pain.
You see a lot of the MLB players nowadays wearing those shin guards, trying to prevent a situation just like this.
I watched Edison Renteria come out of the dugout. Take a look at his players up and hobbling around, and the way he kind of jogged out, he looked exactly like his younger brother, Edgar Renteria. They're one of 9. They have 9 Renteria children. And Edgar, the famous guy in these parts of the country, the world champion, and also out west in San Francisco, of course, known for his big hit in '97. But Edinson had a nice pro career, played 11 years in the – he never made it to the major leagues. He was with the Marlins up through Edmonton with AAA team. He was 7 years in the Houston organization, got to AAA, and played also professionally in the Mexican League and in Taiwan. But maybe his biggest impact on the game of baseball is going to be what he's doing in Colombia with this club and his organization that he has there.
That one's ground out to third base. And did he get him? Nope. Just one pitch after fouling one into his shin, Christopher beats it out for an infield single, his second hit on the night. And Team Colombia is threatening again here in the top of the 7th. They've got runners on first and second with 2 outs. That brings up Kevin Rodriguez.
I think Alex Corral over there at third took a little too much time. He had a charge, and this game is at the speed, Kelly, which almost like the major leagues. Not quite, obviously they're younger, but it's crisp. And that means you don't have that extra split second you might have against lesser competition. You've got to field quickly, charge, and rip it to first to get the guy out, or it's an infield hit just like that.
Absolutely, especially at this age group. The kids they're now starting to develop a little more. They're learning their body. He's getting a little speed as he grounds off second base. He makes a throw across the diamond to first, and great play just gets him for out number 3. Team Colombia needs 3 for the championship, but Team Venezuela has their chance. They get their last ups. Can they make the comeback? We'll be back.
Welcome back to the bottom of the 7th inning. Last shot for Team Venezuela. And Salvatore Penalver, number 13, will lead it off for Venezuela. Swings at the first pitch, down by 3, pops it up. We've seen a great job behind the plate by Diaz all game long. But I'm not sure about that strategy. Down by 3, you need a base runner, first pitch. And if you rip it, maybe you don't mind if it's at somebody, but I like to see my team take a strike in that spot.
I'd have to agree, and I think that's something that comes with time, Craig, and maturity, that you understand the game a little more in the situation that you're in. You're down by 3, last 3 batters at the plate, or last 3 outs. rather, and you got to do everything you can to make that pitcher earn it and work, and you can't get aggressive on that first pitch. Work the
Wilberto,
count.
yes, Feeblays working on trying to finish off not only the championship but a shutout. Diaz went 4 shutout innings. Tapia went 2. Ground ball softly hit. Tough play. First baseman lets it go smartly, and they throw it to Feeblays, and a well played there. Frank Feeblays to his brother Wilberto, and they get the second out. Very intelligent play by Kevin Rodriguez over there at first base.
I like a lot of things happening on that play right there. I like how Feeblays called off his first baseman, said, no, I got it. I like the hustle by his brother, and this by his brother Feeblays to get across the infield and make sure he's covering. He's making sure he's hitting the inside corner of that bag to avoid injury. Just all around great play by this Colombian defense.
Very good play. So it's down now to the final potential out, and Joseas Vergara, beg your pardon, up for Venezuela. Takes one up high, 1 ball and 1 strike. We saw Team USA defeat Aruba in the 1500 championship game, 5-2. We had that one for you. And here Colombia trying to finish off in the 18U championship game. They're a strike away.
And what's been so exciting about this game, Craig, is to see a country like Colombia, not really known for their baseball stars, to play such great baseball here tonight as Feeblays just misses on the outside corner.
A 2-2 count to Vergara. The Colombian players are cheering, clapping. Their fans are clapping, hoping to finish off this game right here. Here's the 2-2 offering. Outside, 3-2. The order will turn over, top of the order for Venezuela. And Renteria may be saying just that to his pitcher. Wilberto Feeblays says, let's get this guy right here and not give the Venezuelans any life.
I can imagine he's probably telling him, hey, trust your D back there. We got you.
And a high pop-up hit in the air to left field. Pice is calling, and the Colombians have won it. The Colombians are celebrating in Palm Beach with a 3-0 win over South America. And look at the celebration as they win over their South American counterpart, that is in Venezuela. 3-0 win. They are the 18 under champions.
If you're Colombia, again, what a feat, being a country that is not known as well known for their baseball against your neighboring country there, Venezuela, which is a complete opposite. A lot of greats coming out of that country, and to come here and to beat them, and not only beat them but shut them out completely after they scored 36 runs over the course of 3 games. Impressive game by Colombia. Venezuela coming up short. Greg, what's impressed you most here?
Well, the pitching, I think, the pitching and defense of Colombia, the shutout, the bats. You were talking about all the runs that the Venezuelans scored. They didn't really muster too many big rallies. Went down 1, 2, 3 in a few innings in this game. 3 of them, in fact. And had the chance with 2 on and 1 out in the first. And you look at those big strikeouts that Diaz got there. He pitched great. I thought he set the tone. To me, Renteria Jr. is the best player I saw in the tournament. In this level, he had, although Capizano had a great game too, Renteria Jr. over there, third, with 2 hits. He just looked big league to me watching him. And we'll see who gets the MVP award. We'll stay with you for that. So don't go away as we have the trophy celebration.
I'd have to agree with you there, Craig. Just the pitching set the tone there. They just came out and shut down Team Venezuela here tonight. Renteria, he looks like he belongs, does he not? Just play some solid third base there, and of course his performance at the plate as well. Now,
Major League Commissioner Rob Manfred had a prior commitment, so he apologizes for not being able to be here. But Mario Signorella will be here to award the championship trophies and the runner-up trophy, well-deserved for Venezuela. PA announcer Lou Palmer. With his announcement that Venezuela has won the runner-up trophy. They had an outstanding championship, beating the American team handily, the Canadian team handily, and Puerto Rico in a walk-off fashion, so they will enjoy that trophy, and well-deserved. And Colombia, a very spirited win and a shutout victory. Very crisp. They allowed only a couple hits in this game. We'll get the trophy as Mario presents it to Edinson Renteria Jr., and he gets to share it with his team.
Again, both teams get to play in this beautiful new facility, home of the 2017 World Series champion Astros.
I'm Gifting Gope, Major League Baseball player. Please support international baseball by subscribing to CBO TV.